Hey guys, it's Tim Miller with the Bulwark. I'm here with Marc Caputo, our man in Magaville. He had a very interesting story that I think is relevant to the weeks ahead and what comes next after the Kamala Harris convention speech tonight. Mark, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great.
You're in Chicago, but you're
Yeah,
still getting scoops from Mar-a-Lago.
still working the phones. Sometimes people talk, sometimes they don't. Here's where a case where someone did.
Well, here's the story I want to start with, and then I want to, after we talk about your story and your reporting, I want to see the live video vindication of it from Donald Trump's latest rally. And the original story here in Magaville was headlined "Donald Trump, I hate my opponent," and this is about conversations he's had with advisors about how to handle Kamala Harris. Talk about that.
Some people are like, look, don't call her dumb, don't call her stupid, not because it'll turn off the electorate, but because it's just really bad debate strategy. If you call someone stupid and you have a debate with them and they beat you or you're tied with them, well, as one of the people said in my story, then there are two idiots on stage, right?
Yes.
And so the response to this from Trump wasn't quite, no, I'll keep calling her stupid, but was, look, I hate my opponents. I got to admit, I hate my opponents. It doesn't matter if it's Kamala or Joe or Hillary. I just hate them. That's how I am. And that's how Trump is. And he's just indicated to people that if you're trying to get him to not take things personally and not be personal and mean, he will be. He told another advisor he was talking to about debating Harris, he promised, quote, I'm going to be mean. So there you go.
I mean, the subtext here is at least some of these advisors, maybe not all of them. I think some of them probably revel in his meanness, but are worried, right, that the nasty pot shots that might work in a Republican primary with a Republican primary electorate won't, be as effective going against a black woman opponent who is kind of riding high right now in the polls in the general election, and maybe there's some stronger places to go than personal insults. I assume that's where kind of the tension lies here.
By and large, it's more tactical. As I said, it's
Yeah.
more like, hey, don't do something that can help her in a debate. Not, hey, don't call her stupid because it'll turn off a major section or a portion of the electorate. They know that he's going to be mean. They know he's going to be vicious. And so I think the best way to describe how a lot of people in Trump world manage or deal with him, you don't want to say manage him, is just understanding like Donald Trump is a river and you're not going to be able to dam it. You're going to have to try to channel it into different places to where you have your hydroelectric plants to like generate the power from it to keep the lights on. But yeah, there is concern, a little less or so, that he's just going to kind of totally blow it in his general messaging and really turn off women. But by and large, it's more focused on, look, calling her dumb and stupid is just totally counterproductive for a debate. And
Yeah.
there are some who say just doing it more generally is a bad idea too.
Well, if you want to attract women in a debate setting, one way to do it might be to steal some one-liners from Matt Gaetz, who's notably very popular among women. And it turns out that is what's happening. Matt Gaetz, they think is a secret weapon here in the not debate prep.
Right. Well, correct. I mean, to begin with, they bristle at the idea that it's debate prep because Donald Trump says he doesn't need to be prepared for anything. So
Sure.
they call these sort of mini policy refreshers and things like that. But Gates helped prepare Donald Trump rather well, according to insiders, for his June 27th debate against Biden. And he's very good at it. He's able to sort of anticipate how things work and able to sort of anticipate attacks and counterattacks, and apparently renders good advice along those lines. Now, as for taking on Kamala Harris as a
Right.
woman, that's where you start to get more into the Tulsi Gabbard zone, the Hawaii
Yeah.
congresswoman who had rather sort of famously in political lore or whatever in 2019 or 2020 taken on Kamala Harris at a debate when Tulsi Gabbard was still a Democrat and really sort of owned her on it, like really attacked her from the left. And that skill and ability Donald Trump is interested in. So two of his debate prep honchos are Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard. I'd love to be a fly in that ring.
Yeah, that's quite the group. Gates and Tulsi and Maybe the Suns are in there, or maybe the Suns are out of vogue right now. Now,
I
like,
don't I don't think so. No, uh, I don't think they are. But how many of these things there are, and the degree to which they start to resemble more closely real debate prep, I'm not sure.
yeah,
But I've been told that the campaign is happy with both Gates and Gabbard. Now,
Gates and
is
Gabbard.
Donald Trump? Well, I guess we're going to find out.
What a weird world that we're in. All right, Caputo. So, some people are like, Caputo, your sources are, you have these anonymous sources. Is it true? Is it really true that there's some advisors that are telling him to be nicer? Well, Donald Trump on stage in North Carolina started talking about just his tendency to need to be mean. And well, let's listen to one part.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. They always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy? Sir, you must stick to policy. You'll win it on the border. You'll win it with inflation. You'll win it with your great military that you built that they gave away $85 billion worth of it in Afghanistan. Sir, you're going to win it on crime. The crime is running through the streets like never before. You're going to win it on all of these things, and maybe especially, I think two things, the economy, inflation, because I view them together. I used to like Bill Clinton. Can you believe it? It could have been Barack Hussein Obama, perhaps. We should ask him. Now, he was very nasty last night. I try and be nice to people, but it's a little tough when they get personal. Please, again, remember, please, sir, don't get personal. Talk about policy.
All right, so there he is. Barack Hussein Obama hurt his feelings, I guess. And so if you're Donald Trump, you have no choice but to be mean because Barack Hussein Obama, Hussein, was mean to you. Is that how it goes?
Right. What's always interesting about Donald Trump is how his rallies have a lot of hyperbole, false statements, and lies, but also has a lot of surprising honesty that just sort of erupts out of nowhere. And so this is what I like to kind of call my sodium pentothal Trump, right? Where he just has the truth serum and he just starts talking. And, as you saw, out of the blue, he's just like, hey, yeah, my advisors want me to be a nice guy, but you know what? People aren't being nice to me. So guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the horns from the bull.
Yeah. It also just speaks to the way that Donald Trump sees the world that he's always put upon. This idea that oh, people are mean to me. It was them that was mean first. I guess Barack was the one that was mean first. It wasn't me that started the racist birther thing.
I was going to say when Obama started accusing him of having a fake birth certificate, that really is what started the war with Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Donald Trump couldn't believe someone was questioning his citizenship and eligibility for the presidency.
I guess there just was. You can see how that might get under Donald Trump's little skin. So the last part I think is the funniest part of all this, and that is when he's doing this kind of internal monologue. What'd you call it? The sodium pentothal treatment. He's just kind of spitting it out loud, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to poll the crowd. I'm going to see the crowd. Do you agree with me or do you agree with my advisors? Let's watch.
Let me ask you about that. We're going to do a free poll. Here's the two questions. Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? Ready? Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? I don't know. My advisors are fired. No, we'd rather keep it on policy, but sometimes it's hard when you're attacked from all ends. I mean, they want to put you in jail for nothing.
The people have spoken, Mark.
It reminds me a lot of whenever you see these Easter movies of Pontius Pilate. Do I release Jesus? Do I release Barabbas? Or Barabbas, right? And so he's very much a Roman prelate here.
Yeah. The crowd, it might be look, Trump, for all of his flaws, knows how to work a crowd, knows how to respond to the crowd and kind of give them what they want. He's good at that. The problem is, and this works to great effect, it worked to great effect in 2016. It's why he was a nominee, really, in 2016 in a lot of ways. The problem, though, is the people in the crowd are not the swing voters that are going to be deciding the election. The Nikki Haley voting Republican mom in Buckhead in Georgia is not going to the rally, and probably would have been, had she been there, this imaginary person, had she for some reason been forced to go to this rally against their will, would have probably been the one person cheering for, no, don't be mean. Don't be mean. So that is maybe a problem with this strategy of polling.
Yeah, right.
Out.
It's not like a Family Feud with survey sex. We've
Yeah.
we've interviewed 100 people, top 4 answers on the board, right? That is not the case. I'd written in a story last week about the concerns of Trump being off message, how to get him on message, and one of the persistent sort of structural problems of the campaign is he really wants to do rallies, but it takes like 3 hours to get into the rally. It takes like another hour or 2 hours for him to get on stage. And by then people have been there for 5 hours. And Trump loves his crowds. He loves his people. He calls them my people.
Does he?
And
Stephanie Grisham indicated that's not true. Maybe
Well,
he loves them. He loves them at a remove.
Okay, he loves them as a crowd. Let's just
as a crowd.
He loves the crowd. He loves his people.
Yeah.
And so he wants to give them a show. And the problem with that is he therefore intentionally goes off script.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the fundamental like tension in Trump world is like he winds up needing to do rallies that because he feels the need to go off script cause him ultimate problems. And the metaphor I use in there was similar to a person with high cholesterol who only eats cheeseburgers. Yes, the cheeseburgers are your sustenance, but they're going to give you more high cholesterol problems, right? And so like your sustenance winds up being your potential undoing.
Yeah. It was funny. The other recent unintentional truth that Trump was saying was, I believe it was at the Montana rally, where he started complaining that Kamala Harris just gives the same speech over and over again.
Yeah.
Just gives the same speech over and over again. And it's kind of like, you might be onto something. There might be a reason for that, okay?
Well, then he says... But he says at that speech, he's like, but that's, you guys like, that would be boring. What would you do? You'd like boo me off stage. I don't think he quite said boo me off stage.
Yeah.
But that was another one of those just really telling moments, right?
Yeah.
And, so here we are. And he has now crowdsourced the idea of being mean to Kamala Harris. And they have essentially said yes. So I think we can expect it.
Well, if there was any doubt, I never had any doubt, but it is amusing to view it from like the Sisyphean perspective of the advisor that wants him to just soften the edges, and they keep trying to sand down that boulder. We're gonna beat this metaphor to death here, and he just won't let it.
I think the other character in Hades is Tantalus, right? He's always reaching for the fruit, and the fruit would like grow above him, and he'd go to drink the water from the river Styx, and the river water would fall. It's kind of a similar metaphor. Right?
There you go. Marc Caputo, thank you so much. Enjoy the final night in Chicago. We'll be talking to you soon. Everybody subscribe to the feed. We'll be back with full coverage of tonight's keynote address from Kamala Harris accepting the Democratic nomination, and we'll be here the rest of the week. See y'all soon. Peace.